Hey everybody, welcome back to visionrecordingstudios.com, and here on our YouTube channel today I want to do a video on another, what I'm calling kind of a utility plugin, doing several videos on plugins that you may not necessarily use in every mix, but they're nice to have in your mixing engineer toolbox, if you will. And this is another one that I don't use that often, but this is great to have and to use when you need to, again, brighten up a mix or really sweeten up the mid-range and the top end of some audio. And this is the Clariphonic Parallel Equalizer by Kush Audio. This is typically used, at least the way I typically use it, on the stereo bus. After my virtual console collection, I insert an EQ. And what this parallel equalizer does, and again, to get into all the technical aspect of it, you can go out to their website and take a look at it and demo it. Basically, this really works on the mid-range and the top end. And let me give you kind of the layout of the land here of the way the functions are and what these buttons kind of do. So over here on the left side, we have the focus knob. This big white knob here's the focus knob, which really kind of works on the lower mid-range, and we're going to listen to a bunch of audio so you can kind of see what it does. And then you have a tight and a diffuse toggle switch here, which will give you different textures and tonality depending on how you use that in conjunction with the focus knob. And then you also have a lift and an open toggle switch here as well. In the center here you have the turn it on, off, engage or disengage. Up is on, down is off. And then over here we have a clarity knob, and next to that we have a toggle switch for a presence and sheen. And then we have where we can pull it in and out, and then we have a shimmer and a silk kind of a switch, which is pretty cool. Okay, so what I typically and how I typically use this to get into exactly what frequencies does it affect, blah blah blah. The way I understand it, and there's limited information on the internet about this where it really gets into detail. Most of it's pretty broad, broad strokes on what this kind of does. Maybe that's a good thing. It's really again to enhance the mid-range and the top end of a mix. Or you could put it on things like a drum bus, and we'll do some of those things to kind of show you what it sounds like. But I typically use this on the stereo bus, as I said, to kind of open up and give things more clarity and a little more mojo, a little more magic. And so on this particular mix, I have this inserted on my stereo bus here. The first chain in my stereo bus is always the VCC by Slate Digital, and then I have the Clariphonic, and then I have the Virtual Tape Machine by Slate Digital. So I have it inserted in the center. I'm not using any stereo bus compression on this. I wanted to kind of just give this to you without that, so you can really hear the effect of what this does. And the tape machine kind of gives you some natural compression anyhow. So let's bypass this, and then let's just take a quick listen to this mix prior to kind of playing around with this, so you can see what this kind of does. Here's a mix here that's pretty close to being done by Lisa Colby. Great band. Check this out. I'll give you kind of the first verse here so you can kind of hear what we're doing. Okay, so it's a pretty cool tune. We got a basic band setup here, all live instruments. We're dealing with, let me take this off here. We're dealing with a kick and a snare and 2 overhead mics on the drum kit. That's it. We have some percussion, a bell, a set of congas. We have a bass guitar. We have some horns. And we have an acoustic guitar. We have some keys, and then we have a lead vocal. That's it. Okay, so I'm going to come to the end of the song here and loop a section as we're kind of listening to the example of what this parallel equalizer can do. And let's bring this up again. And again, right now it's in bypass mode. So just take a listen back to this. I'm just going to flip it on. Right now it's on a preset. There's a bunch of presets in here to kind of get you started. If you take a look at this, we have everything from bass to congas, drums, a bunch of drum presets, some mixes, a bunch of mixes here, some vocal presets, and we'll try out a couple of these to see what it sounds like. I think I had it on a Rock Smack, Mix 2 Rock Smack was kind of the preset I was using. So let's start with this in the bypass mode, and what we're going to turn it off here with this toggle switch, and then I'll pop it on and you can hear what it does.
I've been trying to find my way back home, open-eyed but still lost in this world alone. I've been crying, but none of my tears will know why I'm crying and who I've been crying for. Yeah, who I've been crying for. None of my tears will know who I've been crying.
So it's a real subtle effect in the way you want to use this, and they even recommend it on their website. You want to use this in a very subtle way, that it's real easy to overdo it by turning all these dials and flipping switches to really brighten it up too much to the point where it gets to be really tough to listen to, very harsh and kind of, you know, too top end, if that makes any sense. So again, listen to this again, how especially the vocal, how the vocal just kind of opens up and brightens up. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to the to toggle switches, flip them on and off a little bit, just so you can hear the difference of what this does.
To find my way back home, open-eyed but still lost in this world alone. I've been crying, but none of my tears will know why I'm crying and who I've been crying for. Yeah, who I've been crying for. None of my tears will know who I.
So that focus knob really kind of opens up the real upper mids here. As you turn it down, it gets really a little bit warmer, darker sounding. And as you crank it up, it gets a lot more in your face.
Who I've been crying for. Who I've been crying for. I've been trying to find my way back home, open-eyed but still lost in this world alone. I've been crying, but none of my tears will know why I'm crying and who I've been crying for. Yeah, who I've been crying for. None of my
So these dip switches here, the lift and the open, the tight and the diffuse, it just kind of gives it a different color, a little different tone to the signal. And again, it's very, very subtle. If you're not listening to this on a good set of headphones or studio monitors, you might even not even be able to hear the difference. You might be saying, well, he's flipping all these switches and I don't hear the difference, but it's definitely there. Let's play a little bit with the clarity and kind of see what that does.
To find my way back home, open-eyed but still lost in this world alone. I've been crying, but none of my tears will know why I'm crying and who I've been crying for. Yeah, who I've been crying for. None of my tears will know who I've been crying.
So the presence and the sheen, as you bring up the presence here, it gets a lot more top endy. The sheen kind of mellows out the top end a little bit, and you can take that in and out, just the presence and the sheen in and out. You can use the clarity just along with the shimmer and the silk. Let's play with that. Now I'm going to leave the leave this like this, and let's try and see what the sheen kind of does, the shimmer and the silk.
My way back home, open-eyed but still lost in this world alone. I've been crying, but none of my tears will know why I'm crying and who I've been crying for. Yeah, who I've been crying for.
Again, the difference between, again, silk and shimmer is very, very subtle. It just does something to that upper mid and a little more on the top end. It's really more towards the top end. It just kind of changes the tone a little bit. So, I mean, these things are very, very subtle. The clarity and the focus dial obviously have the most effect on this. So the way I honestly use this, guys, is I just kind of pick a preset and just try to find something that sounds good. If I'm putting it on my stereo bus, I might start off with something like tinge at the top is one of them, or breath. And what I'll do is I'll flip through these presets so you can kind of hear the difference. And I kind of just go with the preset. Again, it's just something that I don't do on every mix, but if I feel like the mix is kind of missing something and I want a little more clarity, a little more top end, a little more mojo, I throw this on there and I pick a preset, turn a couple of knobs, and it just instantly sounds better. And then once you're listening to it with the effect in for a little bit, then if you bypass it and take it out, you can hear how it kind of really, you lose something, and that's what we'll do.
Astounding, that loneliness hurts so bad, so bad. I've been trying to find my way back home, hoping I'd been still lost in this world alone. I've been crying, but none of my tears will know why I've been crying and who I've been crying for. I'm searching and still find myself lost in tears.
Disabled.
You're pleading for forgiveness and want back our years. I feel this conversation is far past repair. Repair. Hey, hey. I've been trying to find my way back home, open-eyed but still lost in this world alone. I've been crying, but none of my tears.
So there you can really hear the difference when you kind of listen to it with the effect on and pull it out, how it just, everything kind of sinks in backwards and it gets a little bit more cloudy, a little bit darker sounding. The top end just kind of goes away. So by bringing in this this effect, this parallel equalization, it really kind of opens up the upper mids and the top end of the mix. And that's on the Rock Smack. Let's try it on something that's a little less obvious just to see. I thought this one was pretty good too. Jazzy Air, I think, what was it. So again, I'm going to start with it off and let's just flip it on and see what the difference is.
Astounding, that loneliness hurts so bad, so bad. I've been trying to find my way back home, hoping I'd been still lost in this world alone. I've been crying, but none of my tears will know why I've been crying and who I've been crying for. I'm searching and still find myself lost in tears. You're pleading for forgiveness and want back our years. I feel this conversation is far past.
So that's a lot more subtle, but the vocal just kind of opens up and pushes forward a little bit. It's not as obvious as the Rock Smack preset. And you can see where the clarity and the focus is way down here. If we start dialing this up a little bit, and let's keep it on the Jazzy Air, and let's just kind of play with these two knobs a little bit, see if we can kind of get something a little more obvious, but not so over the top.
Repair, repair, hey, hey. I've been trying to find my way back home, open-eyed but still lost in this world alone. I've been crying, but none of my tears from lies that you hid and left. Astounding, that loneliness hurts so bad, so bad. I've been trying to find my way back home, hoping-eyed but still lost in this world alone. I've been crying, but none of my tears will know why I've been crying and who I've been crying for. I'm searching
take it out.
and still find myself lost in tears. You're pleading for forgiveness and want back our years.
Put it back in.
I feel this conversation is far past repair.
So again, it's subtle. Hopefully you can hear the difference there, but it just kind of opens things up. Again, this is an EQ that you just slap it on the stereo bus, and you just kind of, pick a preset and just kind of twist some dials, and you can kind of open up that mid-range and that top end. So again, it's not something I use on every single mix, but it is something I used on this mix because I needed something to kind of just open things up just a little bit without getting harsh or brittle. Could you do this with a regular old EQ? Yeah, sure you could. You could play around with different frequency bands, and you can try to get shape of sound that way too, because that's what really this is. It's an equalizer, but this makes things a little bit easier. You just you're not looking at a graphic EQ, and you're letting your ears do the walking here. Your ears do the listening, not your eyes on a plugin or a graphic EQ. You're kind of just looking and listening, and you're really letting your ears tell you when it sounds good and when it doesn't. Now, the thing about this is, again, they say in the manual, once you find that you like it, really like it, after you've been listening to it for a while, dial it back about 20 or 30%, because it's probably a little too much, because your ears start to get used to that really bright sound. The other thing I would recommend using something like this is do the mix, play it where you like it, take a break, come back an hour later and listen to the mix again. And you'll probably find that you need to dial this back a little bit, which is what I did on my mix. Let's just try vocals for the last test, just to see what it does to a vocal on its own. Even though you would do this, again, we would always do this in context of a mix. I'm going to bypass the EQ that's on there already, which is the Pultec by Universal Audio, and we'll just add this in its place. And we'll just see what it kind of does. Okay, let's start with the plugin in the off position, and let's pick a vocal. Let's pick a vocal preset and just see what that does. Touch of Class. Sounds kind of nice. And let's see what this does. So we're going to start with it off. I'm going to engage it or enable it and let you listen to what it does to this female vocal.
So bad, so bad. I've been trying to find my way back home, hoping not, but still lost in this world alone. I've been crying, but none of my tears will know why I've been crying and who I've been crying for.
Okay, on that preset, very, very subtle. It sounds like maybe there was it's almost like listening to this through a set of speakers, and there's like a soft, sounds like a thin fabric over the top of the speaker, and you kind of pull the fabric away, and it just kind of opened things up a little bit. But it's very subtle. Look where the white dials are. The more you crank these up, the more the effect's going to have. So let's pick another one. Let's go with natural forward. Interesting. Okay, let's try that.
I'm searching and still find myself lost in tears. You're pleading for forgiveness and want back our years. I feel this conversation is far past repair. Repair, hey, hey. I've been trying.
So again, very subtle. Makes the vocal sound very natural. Again, it doesn't sound processed to me when you use this, as long as you use it sparingly. Let's try the secret sauce, kind of like that. It would probably be a very subtle effect because of where these dials are, but let's just listen.
To find my way back home, open-eyed but still lost in this world alone. I've been crying, but none of that loneliness hurts so bad, so bad. I've been trying to find my way back home, hoping I'd but still lost in this world alone. I've been crying, but none of my tears will know why I've been crying and who I've been crying for. I'm searching and still find myself lost in tears. You're pleading for forgiveness and want back.
So it just opens up the vocal a little bit. It's very musical, this EQ, which is what I really like about it. I typically would only use this on the stereo bus. I've never really put these on individual instruments before, so we're doing it kind of live for the first time myself. So that is another good use for this. So this is a great little utility. Again, yes, it's an equalizer. It's not really simply just a utility plugin, but it's not something, again, that I use on every single mix. But it's a nice little thing to try if you're looking for something different, if you're looking for something subtle, and you're looking to just open up something in a mix a little bit with a little more clarity, where things are not, overly processed. This is a nice plugin to kind of have in your toolbox. Again, it's a Clariphonic parallel equalizer. You can find this at kushaudio.com. I think you could demo it for free. I think when I paid for this, it was about 99 bucks, a little bit on the pricey side, but again, not too many people talk about this on YouTube, so I wanted to show it to you. I do use it every now and again, but again, I use it more for the stereo bus, not for individual instruments, but as you can see, you can use it on just about anything and it makes things sound musical. So that's it for this video. Thanks again for watching. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing, and thank you for sharing. Again, check me out on visionrecordingstudios.com. Please share these videos with others. Please leave some comments below. Let me know what you think of this EQ. Let me know if you tried and if you like it or don't like it, or what do you think about it. And for more in-depth training, where we go way deep, much deeper than we do on YouTube, you can check out Mixing Made Easy, which is a 6-hour mixing tutorial that was released in September 2014. If you go to visionrecordingstudios.com and click on the products link at the top of the page, it'll bring you right to that. There's a bunch of reviews, very affordable, great product. We're getting rave reviews about it. It's really helped a lot of people. It might be able to help you as well. So until next time, this is David from visionrecordingstudios.com, and I will see you all soon. Take care.